Every cat owner knows the scene. A bowl of fresh, filtered water sits untouched on the floor, while the cat sits expectantly by the kitchen sink, waiting for the magic of a dripping faucet to begin. Cats often show a clear preference for drinking running water rather than water that sits in a bowl, and this behavior is rooted in instinct, sensory perception, and evolutionary history. Domestic cats descend from desert-dwelling ancestors, particularly the African wildcat. In natural environments where water sources may be scarce or contaminated, still water can be more likely to contain bacteria, parasites, or debris. Flowing water, on the other hand, is typically fresher and safer to drink. Over thousands of years, cats developed an instinctive tendency to trust moving water more than stagnant sources. Even though modern house cats are provided with clean water by their owners, these ancient survival instincts still influence their preferences. Movement itself is highly attractive to cats because their brains are wired to respond to motion. The same instinct that makes them chase moving prey also makes them notice dripping taps, flowing streams, or bubbling fountains. When water moves, it catches a cat's attention visually and acoustically. The gentle sound of trickling water can act as a signal that water is present and fresh. In contrast, a quiet bowl of still water may not trigger the same level of interest. As a result, some cats simply forget to drink enough if the water source does not stimulate their curiosity. Another important factor involves how cats perceive water depth and clarity. Cats do not have the same visual sensitivity to still water surfaces that humans do. A flat bowl of clear water can sometimes be difficult for them to judge visually, making it hard to determine where the surface begins. When water flows or ripples, light reflects differently and creates visual cues that help the cat understand the location of the surface. This makes drinking easier and more comfortable because the cat can better coordinate its tongue movements. Whisker sensitivity also plays a role in drinking preferences. A cat's whiskers are extremely sensitive tactile organs that detect subtle changes in the surrounding environment. When a bowl is narrow or deep, the whiskers may brush against the sides while the cat drinks. This can cause a sensation sometimes referred to as whisker fatigue, which is uncomfortable for many cats. Running water sources, such as faucets or fountains, often allow the cat to drink without pressing its whiskers against the sides of a container, reducing that irritation and making the experience more pleasant. Temperature can also influence a cat's attraction to moving water. Flowing water tends to stay cooler and more oxygenated than water that sits in a bowl for long periods. Cooler water can taste fresher and more appealing. In nature, streams and flowing sources are less likely to become warm or stagnant compared to puddles or small pools. Cats may therefore associate moving water with better quality hydration, even if the difference in a household setting is minimal. Behavioral learning reinforces this preference over time. Many cats discover running water accidentally, such as when an owner turns on a faucet. If the cat finds the experience enjoyable or refreshing, it quickly forms a habit of seeking out that source again. Some cats begin waiting near sinks or pawing at taps to encourage their owners to turn on the water. This learned behavior becomes part of their routine and further strengthens the association between running water and drinking. Hydration is especially important for cats because they naturally have a low thirst drive compared to many other animals. Their ancestors obtained much of their moisture from prey, which contains a high percentage of water. Modern cats that eat dry food may not always compensate by drinking enough water from a bowl. Running water sources can encourage them to drink more frequently, which helps support kidney health, digestion, and overall hydration. Increased water intake is particularly beneficial for preventing urinary tract issues, which are relatively common in cats. The mechanics of how cats drink also interact with their water preferences. Cats do not scoop water like dogs do. Instead, they use a delicate lapping motion in which the tongue briefly touches the surface and pulls a small column of water upward. The jaw then closes to capture the water before gravity pulls it back down. This process is very precise and depends on accurate timing and surface detection. Moving water can make the surface easier to detect and may improve the efficiency of this lapping motion. Environmental enrichment may also be involved in the attraction to running water. Cats are curious animals that enjoy exploring new sensory experiences. A flowing water source provides movement, sound, and sometimes small splashes that stimulate their curiosity. This makes drinking feel less like a routine task and more like an engaging activity. For indoor cats especially, these small environmental variations can provide mental stimulation. Because of these natural tendencies, many cat owners choose to provide water fountains designed specifically for pets. These devices circulate and filter water continuously, creating a gentle stream or bubbling surface that attracts cats. The filtration helps remove debris and odors, keeping the water fresh while maintaining the movement that cats find appealing. Cats that previously ignored their bowls often begin drinking more regularly once a fountain is introduced. Individual personalities still matter, and not every cat shows a strong preference for running water. Some cats are perfectly content with a wide, shallow bowl placed in a quiet location away from food and litter boxes. Others may strongly insist on drinking only from a tap or fountain. Observing a cat's behavior helps determine which setup encourages the best hydration. The preference for running water reflects a combination of evolutionary survival instincts, sensory perception, comfort, and learned behavior. Movement signals freshness, improves visibility of the water surface, reduces whisker irritation, and stimulates a cat's natural curiosity. These factors work together to make flowing water more attractive than still water in many situations, explaining why so many cats eagerly gather near faucets or fountains whenever they hear the sound of water beginning to flow.